Hey, what's going on, dudes? Robotica Gamer 456 here, bringing you a little bit of commentary over the current speed build. This is part 2 of the Daily Bugle. Today is the part of the inside because this building is so big. I just want to kind of talk over what I'm doing in the plan for the interior. So, right now I'm installing the first round of lights because I knew I wanted ceiling lights. Um, the idea was do 2 layers so I could light everything and get the exact lighting fixtures I wanted. Now, I was gonna try and do an elevator system, but I'm thinking like my general thought process, since this is being built based off of the Lego Daily Bugle, was let's kind of keep it old school, almost very before elevators, and Minecraft doesn't even have them unless you do water, and I didn't want to break the flow. I know there's slime ones or whatever, but meh. And I really like the red aesthetic. I didn't want to do any teals or anything yet. I wanted to keep this very Daily Bugle-esque. I did not know what shape I wanted initially for the carpet fixture, but in the end it kind of worked out. Um, I also just prefer over like doing normal wool blocks and then building on top. That did come into play a little bit later, as you see here. It kind of fucked me over, but it did work out in the end because I was able to kind of get more of the effect I wanted. I could have just put wool underneath, but I just really didn't like that look. Kind of lost the dimension. Now, here I'm trying to make it look like there's a whole bunch of files, anything and everything that I can for it. Um, the stones I wanted to be some old style computers, and I use stairs a lot in this build for the interior because I wanted like that chair and computer aesthetic. And harkening back to the Daily Bugle, in most like places, I wanted a little lobby area where people could just kind of chill and continuously looking at reference pictures, answering a couple of questions I was getting on my Discord and whatnot on YouTube. And even though you can't see it here, I was copying one of the builds from the Daily Bugle where it has a whole bunch of their newspapers. So that was a lot of fun. But had to add a waste bin, which I wish I kind of kept going on throughout the rest of this build, but I kind of forgot. Adding some more like TV screens throughout, and then I really like using the scaffolds. Now we are using are filling in for the second floor. And since I did redstone, I didn't really think that far ahead, as you can tell, but I filled in the rest of the flooring so that way I could do something more with this. Um, Trying to think of ways to cover it up was a bit of a challenge. At first I thought, okay, I'll pillar it. Then while I was made that first initial pillar, I realized maybe I should put the lights in really quick. That could be easy. And this is this floor is the main reason it doesn't continue throughout the rest of the build. And I really like the effect and the use of these lights, but it definitely was a detriment because you can see already where the or how much redstone blocks I have to cover up later on. And me trying to find and think of a way to cover up the redstone without blocking the lights. Immediately hated that idea, but I got kind of the idea to do a bulletin board, like a news pitch room where they're talking about stories. I kind of had to replicate a lot of ideas here, but I wasn't really sure what to do with the second room. I was going to do a print press room first, but I think I'm going to do that as a side build later on. But adding some tables, some furniture, chairs, or stairs ended up becoming a really good use to cover up a lot of these blocks in redstone, and I really took advantage of this as much as I could. even though you can't see it, and I didn't realize it at the time, I by using the chisel bookshelves, it gave this kind of empty, like file cabinet look on the other side, while also giving a lot more of a build to the other, or at least texture wise. I had some more computers, mainly just because, I mean, they're researching, they're coming up with things to talk about, they need something. Who knows, maybe this is like the editorial room, even where they're editing the paper, and I just wanted to decorate it too much. I didn't a little bit, but I didn't want to add too much. Uh, it just now crossing my mind. I never did do a coffee mug or anything like that throughout the build, but now here we're trying to find a way to make it look like they're actually doing busy work with looking at multiple different things. But because of trying to hide the redstone in a unique way with a bulletin board, I just settled for Donkey Kong, and it's very off-center, but you can't see it here. Now, this is where we kind of get into me realizing I had an issue. I did not know what to do with the redstone here, but oh well. All worked out in the end. Now this is where I was like, yeah, maybe I'll do the print press room here. So I was thinking maybe a darker flooring and a little bit more stone. It's very dirty, or just very covered in stuff. But it didn't really work out the way I initially thought, and I couldn't think of how to do a giant printer like Tommy C. Bricks did for his custom Daily Bugle mock. And so, since I couldn't think of how I wanted to make that in Minecraft at the time, we had to pivot pretty hard very quickly. As you can see here, I started building a photocopy room or red light room. You can't see it or you can't see a single thing I did on the inside. But when we do the walkthrough at the very end of this little series, you'll then see what I mean. And this is where I was like, the redstone is not working out. I hated trying to hide it. So this is the last floor to use the redstone lighting. And to cover it up, I was like, okay, we need desks and chairs, everything. We need the whole 9 yards. So trying to get where I can walk throughout the place, unlike the Krusty Krab and FNAF. So this became a very big challenge. I could have put carpet around, but I didn't think it would really match anywhere in here. So using chairs to kind of cover it up was a good use. I was going to put kind of like this, or I wanted to use that as a bulletin board. I don't think it worked in the end. I should have used a different material, but I mean, hey, once again, they're looking at like blown up images for the newspaper, the board of editorials, or whoever. The white wool I'm using as actual newspaper. So they're kind of looking over the formats. And then this is where like the actual idea of the print press room kind of came into play, where I haven't started building it quite yet, but this is where it like popped in my brain. I wanted to build a giant stack of newspapers, but before I did that, I did add a fire escape to kind of get a test. And I'm messing around with different blocks. I thought that would have worked, but then I just went to the white wool and the carpet, which really did, or in my opinion, it's the best looking, but I don't know, let me know what you think. And it was very helpful to help cover up the last bits, and I did forget some redstone is peeking out, so Maybe I'll have to go back and change it. Now, at this point, I decided we need to do like fluorescent lights, or the type of light where it's like you see in some schools or offices. I hadn't started with the playing with yellow to make it look aged yet, but I really like how these looked. It gave the effect I really wanted. I didn't know the layout either. I wasn't thinking about it. Like I thought, got it down on one side, and I forgot. I didn't ever like take an actual measurement on the daily bugle. I kind of just built a square and then turned it into a rectangle without thinking the actual dimensions. So, whoops. But building this was a lot of fun, and getting this light turned out perfect. Now, this is the part where I was not sure at all what to do because I had already done like a kind of a editorial, a print room. So what if I did like a writer's room where it's a whole bunch of cubicles, different writers working on different stories. Um, and I revisited the end stone, but I really wanted to use the walls because it gave it kind of that thinner look without it being like a fence. And I think this is probably my favorite room, at least building wise. Uh, I didn't add the fire escape on this floor. I think that's gonna be something I touch up later on, but shh, it's between you and me. And you'll notice as the build continues, the very bottom left corner, it never gets touched. I keep forgetting about it. So I might, when I go back to revisit all this, turn it into like a little bathroom because that'd be the only one throughout the whole Daily Bugle. So here we are just kind of adding the computers for every single worker, adding their chairs because they got to sit down somewhere. And I like moving the place in the direction of it so it looks like people are getting up and out. Adding some signs so that the monitors are on, like you can see the current story they're working on versus like signs. And I wanted to do a pink table just to kind of offset the room a little bit, um, and decorate some of the offices. Each one needed a trash can, and some got like a jukebox. I might go back and add some other things, but I don't know. And then this is where I kind of got really tired of just seeing gray, so I added carpet to make it seem like everyone put their own little carpet in to enjoy their office space. Some people didn't. Some people did really tiny ones, other people didn't. Uh, but I wanted to add a giant Daily Bugle or DB for it. I probably should have just done the horn because I'm not a big fan on how that turned out. If I didn't do the table, it'd probably look a lot better. But I think Jameson just kind of bought one from the cheapest people he could. So we're gonna have to add a streaming room, I think, soon. But here we are messing with the fluorescent lighting effect with it kind of yellow and off center, so it's like each one is very separate. I did mess this up, as you'll see as we get to the next layering. I like here it's two with the last one starting the next one, and then I started spacing it out by the end of it, which I kind of prefer overall, but it did cause it to be a little floppy. Nice part about doing this type of a light fixture is I can cut it in spots, like in real life, because you can see a few gaps and holes, but it all gets covered up one way or another. Now this room that we're building though right now is probably the favorite. It's the last build of the video, mainly because this was me like an hour and a half in the build itself, so I needed to just end it. But it definitely took some time to think, okay, I want to replicate Spider-Ham, Spider-Man meme, with him behind the desk. And so I at first was like, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that. You can't really see it quite yet, but um, then I thought maybe we'll make it a set, and then that's where the idea popped in. Maybe this is like the actual like reporter room. Like this is where reporters go when they're working on a story. It's like the room for a reporter to go in and work on stuff. Next room I think is going to be a mail room, mainly because I do want to do that. I think that'd be kind of fun. Maybe a stream room instead. Maybe both, because I have so much space. But I had a lot of fun doing this build because it's not every day that we get to kind of do stuff like, I mean, you can do it whenever you want. Like I'm revisiting the bulletin boards with a much better thing. Uh, this one is meant to be kind of knocked down. Like I don't know, someone came in, threw it on the ground, got frustrated. They're trying to find out who Spider-Man is or something. I don't know, but it was a very fun build. And then a little trampoline for them to work on. Who knows what ungodly things they put in the jars. And yeah, I mean, this build turned out pretty good. I want to add more, and then I eventually add some beds to it, just because I don't know, they've needed something more to do. I might make the thing look like it's floating, or not floating, hanging up. Yeah, this turned out pretty well. You can see I did like the cabinets a lot, and here I am like adding a treadmill so that way they can run and think of stuff. But I want to add something to here, but I don't know what quite yet. But thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Especially if you want more speed builds. This is a very fun series. We got one more part, I think, till the Daily Bugle is done, and then we're going to go back to a really tiny build. I don't know what it's going to be quite yet, but maybe it won't be an IP base. Maybe it'll be something back in the old village. Yeah, y'all have a good one.